Okay, folks, here we are. Last lesson for the week, rational expressions. If you thought the other stuff was fun, wait till you see this. Okay, we have just the front of this notes to get through, but we can do it. Need a breather. Okay, so here's what we got. We have two different cases. The first case is the best case scenario. If the denominators of the two fractions that you're adding or subtracting are alike, you just simply add or subtract the numerators. I'm frozen. You just simply add or subtract the numerators and you keep the denominator the same. Okay, so look at our first example. We have 9 over 6x plus 2 over 6x. I'm going to add up my numerators. 9 and 2 is 11. Keep the denominator the same. 11 over 6. That's my final answer. I don't have to do anything else. If I could simplify that, I would try to simplify it, but I don't have to, so I'm going to leave that as my answer. Okay, let's look at the next one. The denominators are the same. 27 minus 3 is 24 over 6y. But you're probably thinking to yourself, well, 24 divides by 6. That goes in there 4 times y for that final answer. Okay, added the numerators, kept the denominator the same, and then simplified. Best case scenario, denominators are alike. What if the denominators are not alike? This gets crazy. Brace yourself. Okay, so we have 7 over 3x minus 2 fifths. All right, the denominators are not the same. And you first want to look to see if you can factor. I'm going to take frozen. I'm frozen. Whatever is on the right-hand denominator, which is a 5, and multiply that to the left on the numerator and the denominator. Then I'm going to take whatever's over here, the 3, and multiply that to the other side. Okay, so now I have 7 times 5 on top, which is 35 over 15x, minus 2 times 3 is 6x over 15x. And now I would go across the numerator, but I can't take 6 x's from 35, so this is 5 minus 6x over 15x. Okay, there's nothing to simplify there. 6, 15, and 35 would all need to have a common factor, and they do not. So that is my final answer for that question. Okay, now the next example is different because if you look at the denominators, you can factor them. So if I factor this first denominator, it's 2 times, and if I factor this denominator, it's 6 times x plus 3. Well, that's awesome. They both have that x plus 3 group. However, one has 2 and the other has 6. So now I can say to myself, can I make that 2 look like a 6? I sure could if I multiplied it by how much. Multiply that on the top and the bottom. So now that's 3 times 3, which is 9. 3 times 3 is 9 on top. And 3 times 2 is that 6 times x plus 3 plus 4. I didn't have to change this denominator because I made the other one look like it. And 9 and 4 ends up being 13 over 6 is the final answer for that question. 6 doesn't divide into 13, so I'm going to leave it that way. Okay, let's see if I can move this up. Let's look at this next one. All right, there's an A on the denominator on the left and an a minus 5. Now, those are groups of things. So I can't just take a negative 5 and tack it on to that first fraction and multiply it by a minus 5 on the top and the bottom. And this guy has to multiply by a. Okay, so I'm just swapping their denominators similar to what I did in the first example. Now this becomes 2a minus 10, and the denominator is a times a minus 5. I have to distribute the 2 to each of those terms, and then I have 3a, and that's a minus 5. Now, I'm going to go across the top and combine my like terms. 2 and 3 is 5a. Completely frozen. Oh, I froze for like 10 minutes there, folks. 5a minus 10 over a times a minus 5. But look at the top. It's not completely factored, so that's really 5. I can take out a minus 2 and then a minus 5. Wow, I'm having massive internet issues today. Okay, there's that answer. Messy. I would look at the answer note sheet for it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to factor this first thing, 7, and that's 3 on first, x minus 3. This has got x plus 4, and this needs x plus 3, x minus 3. I'm going to look, and I see they both have x plus minus 3 in the denominator. They both have the x minus 3. So really, this fraction over here needs to be multiplied by 3. And this fraction over here needs to be multiplied by x plus 3. Okay, so on top, I have x plus 21 here. And then I'm going to take this 3 and multiply. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12 over 3. I just froze forever there, people. Look, I even have my Hudson Valley mug today. It's been a rough day. So I have a 3 on the bottom, and then it's x plus 3 and x minus 3 on the bottom here. Okay, so 7 take away 3. I don't even have any. Just give this up. I'm tired of homeschool. 7 minus 3 is 4x. I can't even write. What the heck? I'm dying, folks. 4x and then 21 take away 12. I don't even know what that is anymore. It's 9. And then it's 3 times x plus 3 and x minus 3. Well, that was rough. And I just made 3 in the slowest period of my internet ever. And I apologize for how bad these videos were. I'm trying. I'm sure you guys are going to have a ton of questions this week on this unit. If you need help, feel free to email, whatever you need. You get stuck on problems, I can meet with you, whatever you need. We can do it, people. We're almost to the end. We basically have lunch review for our final. That is so bad I can't even stop. Please let it stop. Here we go.